You know what? There is nothing more I love than a neatly cut lawn. Except for the patch down the back. You can just sort of see it down in between. Well, there are two trees there, you'll have to believe me, but mower ran out of fuel. So sue me, eh? Anyway, I was using the mower earlier on, probably less than 5 minutes ago. Started making a god-awful noise. Now, because I have worked with mowers a lot, I knew what it was straight away. It's a clutch for the starter mechanism. Now, this particular machine is a mulcher. It's got no chute, no provision for a catcher or anything. It's a Rover. The nameplate's fallen off. No, that red air cleaner does not go with this engine. It goes with my other mower with the same exact model of Briggs and Stratton motor. This is a particularly nice engine. It's, you know, I'm probably going to be wrong, but I think it's about a 4-horse motor, maybe even 4.5. It's the big motor. It's also got a decompressor, which is actually part of the camshaft. And it's got a cast iron liner in the cylinder, so they don't wear out for a very long time. Generally, you can get away with just putting rings on these things. So anyway, back to the starter. Starter mounted on top of the engine. Now the newer ones are made this way as well, except they don't use a clutch. They use a totally different type. Now, if you've got a Briggs and Stratton and you're wondering how to date the motor, you've got to find this. Can't see it in the camera, but the first thing that's written there, from memory, I think it's the model. Now there's model, type, code. They're the 3 numbers on there. Now if you won't be able to see it in the camera, but the code consists of, it's a date code. It tells you when the motor was made. So the first 2 digits on this code is 87. That means 1987. The next 2 are 06, so that's the 6th month, and then the next one along is the 24th. So this motor was made on the 24th of the 6th, 1987. So, and I think the base is probably about the same age. So anyway, starter problem. These things have a maintenance item under here, which not many people know about. If I pull this off, and okay, yes, I have removed all the bolts because I'm not going to waste time doing that. So anyway, pull this off, and it's got several bolts holding it in. I'm not going to bore you with the sizes or anything. Then we come to this. This square shaft, if you like, engages with this hole in the starter. So anyway, you've got your rope there and pulls over the motor, pulls it over with this. Now when the motor starts, it's a free run clutch, so it doesn't tear the starter to pieces. And I'll pull this off, little screen, whatever you want to call it. Now unlike me, you shouldn't be lazy, you should get a paintbrush and some kerosene or diesel, or petrol's not really good because it contains benzene, which is carcinogenic. So you really should use kerosene or something. Anyway, got a little seal there to keep the water and crap out. Inside of the cover's not too bad. And we've got ball bearings in here. Now the way this works is when the engine fires up, those ball bearings are thrown out away from these little dog clutch teeth. And it just grips around there like that. So pull it over, and when it starts, the bearings are thrown out into those little spaces there to clear the dog clutch. Now one of the things you're going to have to do is to pull this out. This hasn't had oil on it for ages. You can see the colour of the shaft. It's just whatever oil's left. Now you can't see it in here, but there's a felt pad in there. That felt pad's supposed to retain oil. That lubricates the whole assembly. So anyway, you pull that out, put it into your neat stack of crap that came out of it, pull out the bearings and put them in your lid, your toolbox or whatever. Don't lose them. If you lose them, you're going to have a hell of a time replacing them. If you lose all of them, you're going to have a hell of a time. what you really should be doing is cleaning this whole assembly out and getting the old crap out of there. The black is where the balls have been running. So how do you lubricate it? Well, get your bottle of spare engine oil, which is this. Just that's left over from changing the oil in the car. And you're not going to be putting much in it. Probably a lighter oil is not a bad idea. So any modern vehicle oil that's like, you know, 5W15 or something light like that would probably be better than this. This is all I got and I can't be bothered getting any more oil. So you pour the oil in there like that. You want heaps of oil in there. So it's probably about half a lid full in here. And the point is, it's supposed to soak into this pad. Now there's a little hole in the top that's actually meant for oiling it. Just giving it a shake around to sort of try and get it into the pad. This is actually intended for an oil can. So you can just put oil in the top and force it down. Don't really like doing that because you can't tell what's inside it. A thinner oil would probably soak into that pad better. But I'm not going to use a thinner oil. It started soaking into it already. So I'm going to place it in that in the toolbox like that. Use my trousers as a rag for the oil that was on my hands a second ago. And I'm going to pour more oil in it. It's already quite a bit is soaked up into that pad. There is absolutely nothing wrong with plenty of engine oil in this system. Now, do not use grease. Do not lubricate this assembly with grease. If you do, it will not function as designed. Grease is too viscous and the balls can't throw themselves out into the little spaces there via centrifugal force. So anyway, how are we going? It's very slowly seeping in to the pad. I'm giving it a shake around. That can sort of help it. In case you're wondering why this inside of this cowling's all oily, that either means one of two things. One, it could mean the top seal in the motor's gone. That's pretty likely. I didn't do anything to this motor except fix the carby. That's why the carby's all nice and clean. And yeah, the second thing, it could mean that this thing's been on its ass when whoever owned it stopped using it. I owned the mower for years, but the engine came off something else. Came off an MTD. I don't think a lot of MTD machines, but I like the motor, so they use good motors, but MTD have bases that rust out. I don't know if that happens in America, but it happens here, and that's because of our grass being different, I guess. I'm not really sure, but MTDs don't like Australia. Bases are too thin. This old Rover's 30 years old. It's actually a little bit older than the base that it's bolted to. So all I did was, stupid camera's out of focus, all I did was just pour some oil into that. I'm probably going to end up pouring more into it on reassembly. Now, what I'm trying to do is force the oil, which you can see coming up through that pad. So I like doing that because that ensures that there's plenty of oil in that felt pad. Now that's really, really important, because that felt pad is the entire lubricating system of that starter assembly. This thing's never been lubricated since it was made. So anyway, sort of make sure it's home. Let's turn it around. So anyway, there's plenty of oil in there. It's probably going to end up all over the machine when I start it up. I was going to start it for this video, but this thing's out of fuel. So put the ball bearings back in, and make sure they're all there. If you lose one, you'll have to replace it, because otherwise this thing won't work properly and you'll end up damaging it. So you can see it works properly. It's also a lot smoother to turn. You'll have to take my word for it. The other thing is this seal here, you can replace it. You don't have to replace it, but what you should be doing is just giving it a smear of oil. That ensures that the seal won't burn out on the crankshaft. Yeah, the dog's out here, so she's complaining because I'm not throwing her ball. There's enough oil around that seal to keep it all nice. Now, I'm going to do something you shouldn't do, which is hitting things with tools. The correct method is to carefully tap, maybe with a small punch or something, the edge around that plate. But I'm only tapping it very gently, so I can get away with doing it. Just have to sort of pick a happy medium, not too hard and not too soft. This camera's probably going to run out of memory soon, but sorry about this being a long video, but don't know if there's going to be a start because it hasn't got any fuel in it. Should have put fuel in it, but only got 2-stroke left. So that's how you effect a repair on this motor for the starter. This is actually a maintenance item. Should be doing it every now and again. Anyway, I should probably end the video there because I reckon there'll be plenty of people getting sick of watching this video and listening to my voice. You make sure it's nice and tight. Don't tighten the crap out of it because you'll strip the thread and then you'll have to repair it. And you shouldn't have to repair things, you should be just simply doing maintenance on it. You should also clean that dipstick tube better than I did because you'll end up with crap in your motor and it'll ruin it. These things do not have any kind of an oil filter. So anyway, that's how you do it. That's all you need to know to repair that starter. Put all the bolts back in, don't over tighten them, and this thing will last for years on end. Probably outlast just about anything you can buy new. It's a quick, cheap repair, and I guarantee you just about everyone would have thrown this machine away because of that problem. It sounded like it was going to throw a conrod just about to people that don't know what the noise means, but it's just simply something that needs oiling. Who knew? That's it. Thanks for watching. And if you have an 114702 motor or any similar old Briggs and Stratton that looks like this, then get out there and pull it apart and put some oil in that clutch. Otherwise, if it does seize, it'll tear the starter to pieces. So anyway, thank you very much. Have a nice day.